What's up, everybody? We're back for another fantasy baseball waiver wire video. We're getting to crunch time here. We're getting close to playoffs. People are trying to secure a playoff spot. They're trying to lock a top seed. They're trying to get a bye. Or maybe you're barely hanging on the outside looking in. Now's not the time to get distracted by fantasy football. Let's finish what we started and let's put ourselves in a position to potentially bring home a fantasy baseball championship. If you guys like this content, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you hate this video, smash that thumbs down. But if you aren't subscribed and you like it and you don't want to miss a video going forward, hit that button. It would mean a lot. We're getting close to that 1,000 subscriber goal. I don't want Brian6682 to get mad at me. So without further ado, I'm Chris. Welcome to Number 2 Sports, and let's get into it. Okay, first up on the list, we got a starting pitcher from the Kansas City Royals who was traded there at the deadline, Ryan Bergert. As promised, I mentioned that Bergert would make it into the main waiver wire section if his rotation spot was confirmed, and that was on Wednesday by the Royals manager. Bailey Falter ended up losing their rotation spot, not Ryan. So acquired by KC in the Freddie Fermin trade, Bergert has a very unique arsenal, very intriguing arsenal, consisting of a four-seamer that hovers around 94 miles per hour, but has excellent vert, hovering around 18 to 19 inches. A high vert means the vertical movement or rise the pitch generates by spin and velocity increases a pitcher's effectiveness by altering the perceived height of the pitch and movement. It makes it way harder for batters to locate, adjust, and hit. A high IVB leads to increased strikeouts, weaker contact, and overall just more effectiveness of a pitcher's arsenal because of the deceptive rise and movement on the fastball. It's why you see guys like Ryan Nelson throwing 84% fastballs because he has a 20-inch vert on it, and sometimes it can just be impossible to hit. But Bergert pairs that fastball with sliders and sweepers down and away, coming in at 87 and 83 miles per hour respectively, giving a nice velocity change to that fastball. Bergert will mix in the odd changeup to lefties, but it's been by far his worst pitch in the majors. And he does have a sinker too, but he rarely throws it. He is very reliant on location because of his low velocity, which may induce outings where he just gets rocked if he's not able to stay on the edges, live on the edges, and he gets too much stuff over the heart of the plate. Some growing pains could be expected with Bergert. Overall, I'm intrigued by his potential strikeout upside. The vertical break on his fastball, coupled with that nice horizontal movement on his sweeper and slider that he can generate without sacrificing a ton of velocity, which is rare, especially for someone who throws at such a steep arm angle, making it very hard for batters to adjust their eyes and pick up on pitches, and it's a promising trait to have for potential future success in the MLB. I'd like to see a bit more velocity. If he adds 1 to 2 ticks in the offseason and hones in his command a little bit better, I can see him really breaking out. He'll be someone that I'll be targeting in a lot of drafts next spring. But for this year, if you're chasing high upside strikeout potential against good matchups, you can do a lot worse than Bergert on the wire. Next up, we have a young hitter who's probably been cycled through a few teams, added and dropped, but that's Jack Caglione from the Kansas City Royals. So Jack has been talked on here, and he's probably been talked on pretty much every other fantasy baseball YouTuber's page. The reason I'm bringing him up now is he got hurt a little ways back, and he probably was dropped by a lot of teams or a lot of impatient teams because it's not like he was having crazy fantasy success before he got hurt. Honestly, he was just downright awful. Caglione is batting 147 with a 485 OPS, which is honestly just unbelievable because it's so bad, like laughably bad. Some of that can just be what we should expect going forward with prospects now. So many of them are struggling in their first stint in the majors. Like, a lot of them do even get sent back down, but when they get called back up and when they get their feet wet, you can see that they really start to hit their stride and take off. Guys like Nick Kurtz, Roman Anthony, and Matt Shaw are the perfect examples. And we also can't forget that Caglione made the MLB 1 year after being drafted. So it just shows how good of a year he's had and how quickly he just demolished through the minor league system. Now talking about what he's actually doing at the plate, he's been insanely unlucky for his balls batted in play this year, especially ones that he gets a barrel on. James Shiano actually did a great piece on him about barrels per swing, and to sum it up, on the balls he hits that are classified as a barrel, his expected stats are about 20 to 30% lower than league average. So really, if he just gets back up to league average, his counting stats should go way up. And with his bat speed, like top 11th in the league bat speed, he should be, and I think he will be, doing a lot more damage to close out the year. And it looked like things were starting to click before he got hurt. He hit a couple home runs, one absolutely monster home run, and was smacking the ball consistently over 100 miles per hour. He maintained a sub 20% strikeout rate, which is great, and all his expected stats were way better than his actuals. And just look at his rolling expected WOBA since the beginning of July. It's on that steady incline up, baby. The one thing that's definitely not helping though is just Caglianone's not pulling the ball in the air enough or as much as he was in the minor leagues. If he figures that out, starts putting that ball in the air to his pull side, like we always say, good things happen when hitters do that, I think that'll really help him elevate his game and get his feet wet in the major leagues. He started his rehab assignment a few days ago and looks like he has no lingering effects from that injury. In the first game back, he went 4 for 5, and in the second game back, he went 2 for 4 with a double. I am very bullish on his outlook to close the year, and if he's floating around on any waiver wire right now, I would grab him up immediately. The upside is just too great to ignore. If he gets back to the majors, catches fire, and that power starts. Next up, we have a pitcher that's had a crazy start to his career so far. That's the young pitcher out of Atlanta, Hurston Waldrep. Now, Waldrep is kind of a weird one. He probably had the worst debuts you can ever imagine last year in 2024, getting absolutely rocked in both his outings. And it was abundantly clear that he can't be a splitter first pitcher if he wants to stay as a starting pitcher or make it in the big leagues. So looking back at last year, his fastball was not good. It sat at 94 miles per hour with not much vertical break and league average extension. Hitters sat back on it if you fell behind the count because a splitter is something you don't want in the zone, or it's just an absolute meatball pitch that hitters demolish. And that's just what they did last year. Batters completely punished him for it. So that is kind of the issue with a splitter dominant, like a splitter first type of guy, because if they fall behind in the zone, you just can't use it. It's not a pitch that you want to be throwing for strikes, not a pitch that you want in the zone consistently. You want to get ahead 0-1, 0-2, and then you can throw that splitter in the dirt down low outside, make it as your whiff pitch and put away pitch. It's just a legit chase pitch through and through. Waldrep also just walked way too many batters last year, partially because of the reasons I just said. And it was just, again, an absolute disaster in both outings. He looked like he was destined to be a bullpen guy, but hold on now. Let's fast forward to 2025 where he has completely revamped his entire arsenal. He now has a splitter, sinker, curve, cutter, four-seamer, and slider. The message was clearly seen. Add more or go to the pen. First, the splitter is amazing. It's generating a 30% CSW this year. And really, it's Waldrep's bread and butter put away pitch. It's his go-to pitch, and just look at his grip on it. My fingers feel like breaking just looking at this thing. I have no idea how he has any command over it whatsoever. Instead of that poor shape, movement, velocity four-seamer last year, he's ditched that and he's added a sinker with a lot more movement. And he's also added a tick or two of velocity as well. This has just helped him shelve that four-seamer, lock that thing up, and don't bring it back out. Waldrep also added a cutter and throws his curveball more, rounding out his arsenal to give him more ways to attack and go after batters, besides them just waiting to tee up on a slider or fastball over the plate. And maybe his biggest change, if you can believe that, wasn't to his arsenal, but it was to that crazy high leg kick that he had last year. He's reduced that by a tremendous amount, giving himself more balance and more consistency to help with his command. And it has shown, it has paid off this year. He's been great in both his outings. Command has improved and he's throwing way more first pitch strikes, allowing that splitter to be a put away pitch like it should be. Atlanta's manager said that he'll stick in the rotation to close out the year. I haven't heard anything about an innings limit. He's already at his career high for innings pitched this year, so that could be something that we might see near the end of the season. I'm not really sure. But the guy's a dog. I love guys that aren't stubborn in their ways and they have the ability to change and adapt, and that's exactly what he's done. I view him similar as like a Kevin Gausman type guy who have a nasty splitter, and the other pitchers are fine. They're okay. They can get you to the point up in counts where you can just sit back and let that splitter do its work, baby. I'm also recording this as he's pitching tonight against Cleveland, so you know with my luck, you'll probably get absolutely thumped. But if not, man, I am super excited for this kid. Must-add guy in 12-team leagues. And last up, we got the new closer for the Houston Astros, and that's Brian Abreu, stepping in, filling in for Josh Hader. And I'm not sure when Josh is going to return. So with the news coming out that Josh Hader is seeking a second opinion on his injured shoulder, that is almost guarantees that that first one was bad, because usually they always do that when they want something a bit more positive. Abreu, though, a guy I have been harping about all year as a must-roster guy for Holds League, can immediately step in. I think he'll easily be a top 10 closer to close out the year, or at least until if or when Hadar comes back. So a predominantly 2-pitch pitcher, Abreu's four-seamer comes in at 97 miles per hour with okay extension and decent vert, but he consistently keeps that heaters up with batters only batting a $169 against it, and it generates a 31.3 CSW, which is easily in the upper half of the league. The slider is even better, and one of the better sliders in the entire league, generating a 40.7 CSW. It sweeps and dives across the zone and is effective against both lefties and righties. He does walk a little too many guys, and he can tend to give up a little bit too hard of contact sometimes, but Houston, unfortunately, is going to win a ton of games down the stretch, just like they always do, and he should be able to slam that 9th inning door shut each night he's given the opportunity to. He's a must-grab RP right now if he's floating around on your wire and you need saves. Okay, now we're going to quickly go over some players to stash that I think when they get called up, or if they get called up, could really be valuable to help close out the year and into fantasy baseball playoffs. I'm going to kind of rapid fire through these guys, but the first one up is Bubba Chandler, and it's honestly just hilarious that he's still in AAA. Well, not hilarious for him. I feel bad for the kid, but he's got to come up soon, right? Next up, Andrew Painter, and it was made public a while back that his call-up date would be around now. I think he can be an impactful arm. He has struggled a little bit in AAA lately, so I wouldn't be as optimistic as I was a couple months ago, but he's still a high upside strikeout guy. Probably my favorite one on this list, and I wanted to throw him in the main waiver wire section again because I'm a homer Seattle Mariners fan, but that's Victor Robles, and he's going to come back soon. And can people just stop beaming him in AAA? He's getting pegged every night. Like, I don't know what's going on. They got to pull him up before he gets hit in the wrist, finger, or something happens to him, man. The Mariners need him. Dylan Beavers, we talked about in the last couple of videos, and he is in the recap segment. He could be a very impactful guy when or if he gets called up. I love chasing beaver tails. Samuel Basallo. Now, big question is, are the Orioles going to actually let him play? Who knows? We'll see. But again, a super high upside guy. Immense talent with this young man. Christian Campbell, we've already seen him exceed in the majors, and if or when he gets called back up, he could easily be a lightning in a bottle type guy, go on a super hot streak, and really help our fantasy teams over the end of the year and into the fantasy playoffs. And last up, Jordan Lawler. We've talked about him lots throughout the year. It looks like that injury's past him. He's starting to ramp up his activities again. He's a high upside guy, one of those coveted power speed guys that could just help our lineups immensely if he does get called up. The playing time is there for him to take it and run with it. Okay, now we're going to do a little news segment, a little quick shout out segment for guys that I wanted to talk about, but just didn't have time to put them in the main big waiver wire section, or guys that are just playing really right now, and they just deserve a little clap, a little pat on the back. First up, we got Isaiah Collins, and man, the Brewers are insane this year. Everyone that puts on that Brewers jersey just turns into fantasy gold. Like, just look at what Andrew Vaughn's doing this year after coming across from Chicago too. Collins has suddenly emerged as the favorite to land Rookie of the Year honors. Just way to go. Next up, we got Dylan Cruz, and he's back, man. I think he can be a great contributor. He's a guy who can get super hot. He's kind of some people that have maybe forgot about him a little bit, forgot about his former top prospect pedigree. Maybe just a little. Good power speed guy. He's worth a pickup in any 12-team league that he's available right now. Kyle Manzardo, another Cleveland guy. He's been mashing the ball lately, puts a ton of barrels on that baseball in play, has great prospect pedigree, and the best thing about him is he's pulling the ball in the air a lot. Couple that with great plate discipline, and it's no wonder that his expected WOBA has been steadily climbing since the beginning of July. He's starting to look comfortable out there, so watch out. I think he can be a big contributor to close out the year and into fantasy playoffs. And last up, we got Noel McLean, expected to be called up for the New York Mets. His stuff grades out top of the line in AAA, but he can really struggle with control, so I might temper my expectations just a little bit. I want to see how he adjusts to major league hitters, but he's definitely someone to keep your eye on. See how he looks in that first outing and go from there. Also, keep your eye on CJ Kayfus. He's in the majors right now. He started off all right. His strikeout rate's a little too high and he is struggling a little bit, but if he starts to bring that thing down, I really like his fantasy toolkit. I really like his batting profile, and I think he can be useful and effective in 12-team leagues. Okay, now let's get into some deep league ads. I know in the previous videos we've been doing shallow league ads, but I just feel like it's getting a little stale, getting a little boring. I feel like we're just repeating the same players over and over. So we're going to go over a bunch of guys around 10% owned and under based off Yahoo that I think that could get hot and help your teams close out the year and into the playoffs. But remember, remember, these are deep league ads, and these players are almost universally available for a reason, so they don't come without flaws. But when you're in these 16, 18, 20-man leagues, you can't be that picky, right? Now, first up on the list, let's go Ha-Sung Kim. Now, he struggled since his return from the IL, but I think he can get some positive regression and close out the year strong. He's going to be a cheap source of steals. He's increased his bat speed this year, and he's pulling the ball in the air a lot more often. And we also can't forget that he's the highest paid player on the Tampa Bay Rays payroll, which is just crazy. The Rays are going to give him every opportunity to play every day to close out the year. Next up, we have Miguel Andujar. Now, I don't know how much power we're going to get, but he does play in Cincinnati and his home ballpark is a plus, but he should be a cheap source of average hits and some counting stats. He doesn't whiff or strike out, which are two crucial things, I think, when looking to add these deep league guys. We want them to get the ball in play and hope good things happen. Ride the hot streak right now with Miguel. You can fit him in a corner infield spot or the outfield. Spencer Horwitz is the next guy. I know we have talked about him a lot this year, and I think he's like almost a must-own guy for leagues that count OBP. He's going to get on base. He's hopefully going to get some hits. Hopefully going to get some counting stats. He does have a little pop in his bat, and I just love his plate discipline, and he is going to lead off for the Pirates on most days. Even though we all know the Pirates lineup is tragic, still you want to be in that leadoff spot, get more chance for runs, get more at-bats each game. It's not the worst spot to be in. Joey Ortiz, give me that mustache right now, Mr. Ortiz. Man, the Brewers are so hot right now. They seemingly can't do any wrong. Are they just an absolute wagon this year or what? Ortiz can help with some power, speed, and again, he doesn't whiff or strike out at all. It just seems like anyone that puts on that Brewers jersey just becomes the best baseball player of all time. Just look at Andrew Vaughn. Next up, we have Winsale Perez. Now, Perez was actually in the main waiver wire section a while back, right when I thought he was on the verge of really breaking out. Now, it didn't pan out. He cooled off pretty hard afterwards. But I still love all the changes that he made this year. If you want to hear about him, you can watch that video here. He's still hovering around an 800 OPS for the year. And honestly, Perez might be one of my biggest sleepers that I'm targeting in drafts next spring. Francisco Alvarez, not sure if this classifies as a deep league ad because his roster rate is 16%. But I think with catchers, since it's more scarce, this counts compared to like an outfielder pitcher. And since he's been recalled from AAA, he has made some adjustments. He has good power. He just needs to be more consistent. He needs to get more contact consistently, but he's always willing to take his walks. And with that pop in the bat in the catcher position, I just feel like any given week, he can mash a few home runs and really help your team, carry your team from a generally underwhelming position. Next up, we have my boy, Tyler Freeman. Now, we have talked about him a couple times. Freeman's going to help you in runs, hits, and steals. He leads off for Colorado. I wouldn't expect any power from him. I view Freeman as kind of like a poor man's Steven Kwan. He's not going to strike out. He's not going to whiff. He's going to put the ball in play and hope good things will happen. I honestly think this roster rate's way too low for Freeman. I think he even can be useful in 12-man leagues. Next up, we have Alec Thomas, and man, does he love playing baseball in the month of August. He's batting over 300, has a couple home runs, 5 RBI, and his gold caliber glove is always going to keep his bat in the lineup. Arizona has a great schedule to close out the year, and I can see him making enough contact to finish out the year on a strong note. Nick Gonzalez, again, one of the greatest mustaches in the game. We have talked about him a couple times. He's going to rack up hits. He has some power. It's a terrible Pirates lineup, but he's not going to kill you in the average or OBP department. He's honestly a nice grab in deeper leagues in need of middle infield, especially second base help. We keep going with Dominic Canzone. His power is legit. His savant page is awesome. Shortening his swing, changing his stance, and moving up in the box has helped him this year. It just really hasn't paid off yet in a fantasy perspective, but I think it will and it can to close off the year. Canzone will be another major sleeper candidate for me in drafts next spring. Jordan Walker, who's just a guy who has the ability to get hot in a second. He's a former top prospect who's never really put it all together in a season yet. He's shown glimpses of what he could potentially do. He can hit some homers and can swipe some bags, and he could be a real plus in your lineup at any given week if he gets hot. Okay, I guess we should round this out with a few pitchers, and first up, we're going to go with the good old Canadian kid, Matt Brash, who I just absolutely love. He's a perfect setup man to Munoz all year. He's going to be the first guy up when Munoz is unable to close, if he's getting rested that day. He has a wipeout slider. I think he's just filthy, and Seattle's going to win a ton of games down the stretch. Next up, we got Shane Smith. He has a solid fastball, a great curveball, rounds out his arsenal with a sinker and a changeup. There are a lot of question marks with him though, because the secondaries do need a lot of polishing, but there is some potential. There's some upside here for strikeouts that are worth chasing in deep leagues. leagues. Last up, we'll go Cade Povich. He located his fastball along the edges really well against the Athletics. His curveball and changeup weren't as good, only generating 3 whiffs on 30 pitches combined, but he peppered his sinker up and into lefties, and it was fantastic and worked. Definitely not a bad flair in deep leagues to see if he can build on this, keep the momentum going, and continue to work on his arsenal to make it useful for deep leagues. Okay, now it's time for the recap segment, and we're gonna go over my waiver wire video that I posted on August 2nd. There was no punishment last week, but there might be one this week. First up, we have Shane Bieber, and he has 1 rehab start left, and honestly, he's been fantastic in his rehab assignments so far. I do think Bieber has the potential to be a legit difference maker to close out the year and into fantasy baseball playoffs. I am really excited for his return. Next up, we had JT Ginn, and man, he absolutely screwed me in one of my leagues. I thought he was trending in the right direction. I do like his stuff, but I guess hiccups are expected with younger pitchers. I do expect him to bounce back a little bit in his next start, but it's totally understandable if you don't want to be a part of that whatsoever. If you started him last week, pour yourself a gin and say see you later. Next up, we had Kobe Mayo, and he still is playing every day, so it looks like the Orioles are coming to their senses a little bit, but he's gone through a cold spurt, only 1 home run. I'm still bullish on his long-term outlook, but in 12-team leagues, he's definitely a tough hold when he's cold like he is right now. I guess this is back-to-back L's. My balls are already starting to hurt a little bit. This is not looking good. We're bouncing back with Randy Rodriguez though, but man, it would be nice if the Giants could like potentially win a baseball game, eh? Still, this guy is unbelievable stuff. I've been super high on him all year for people in holds leagues. Giants are eventually going to start to win more games, and he's going to be the closer to finish off the year. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, but we need to finish off this waiver wire video strong protect the crown jewels. Dylan Beavers was the prospect to stash. I'm recording this segment Thursday night, so it is August 15th tomorrow when all those rookies won't lose their rookie eligibility, and we'll see a mass call up from people calling up their prospects across teams from the MLB. So I don't know if he's going to be one of the guys called up. I hope he will be, but right now we'll stand pat as one of the top guys that you can stash right now who could be a legit difference maker to close out the year. And last but not least, we had Colson Montgomery, and man, this kid just can't stop hitting home runs. His power is crazy. His strikeout rate is at 28%, which is still very high. So I think we'll eventually have to see a week or two cold stretch coming up. But I just don't know how you just can't keep starting him, and I hope he continues just mashing, tearing the cover off this baseball and helping fantasy baseball lineups across the board. His dynasty ranking is rapidly rising. Okay, so where does that leave us for the punishment? Let's put it in here. It's inconclusive, man. We're gonna have to go to a booth review. Okay, so I just got word from Bailey up in the booth, and she says that Bieber's inconclusive because he hasn't pitched in MLB yet. Same with Beaver because he hasn't got called up yet. So that leaves us with Jin, downright terrible. Mayo, bad for 12-team leagues because he hasn't really produced. I do like his outlook though. Rodriguez, good. Giants will win games. And then Montgomery, just awesome. The guy is smashing. But 50% is just not good enough. I don't care how good Montgomery's been. We are getting a punishment. Drinking ice willingly is crazy. See that smoke? I stopped and looked at the camera halfway through because I thought it wasn't recording and I didn't want to do it again. But I think that's it for this waiver wire video. I appreciate everyone being here and tuning in. I hope you guys all make playoffs. I'm getting excited for fantasy basketball, so I hope a lot of you will stick around and tune into that too. Maybe I'll think about getting some leagues together that we all could draft. We'll see, and maybe I'll put a poll out as we get closer to the season starting. Thanks again, everyone. You guys are beauties. Have a good weekend. Have a good week, and I'll see you when I see ya.